On day 1, I spawned in by the remains of a crashed ship as the imposter from Among Us. Wow, it'll be hard to tell me apart from a crew member, even though I'm just a baby imposter. It's a good thing I survived the crash, but I couldn't stay relaxed for long. A soul vulture walked up to me, and it looked hungry. Guess I'm about to find out if imposters have souls. The soul vulture looked like it was about to attack me, but it was suddenly hit with an energy blast and exploded. I turned to see who fired the blast and saw a red Mungus captain walking towards me. Oh, thank goodness, you saved my life, Captain.
Enough blubbering, recruit. We lost enough good men when we crashed onto this planet. Do you know what happened to the imposter?
He knew about me. I needed to stay in character, and that meant I needed to trick him. The imposter? I bet it was destroyed when the ship crashed.
Unlikely. The imposter is too crafty for that. Listen, we have 100 days of supplies. In that time, we need to rebuild the ship, destroy the imposter, and get out of here. Now make yourself useful and go find the other crew members.
Sir, yes, sir. As I walked away, I thought about how crafty and tough the red captain seemed. If I couldn't outsmart him in the next 100 days, I'd be toast. On day 2, I left the red captain to his own devices and ventured out to search for a solution to my problems. I've only got 10 hearts. Something as dangerous as the red captain and his Mungus crew would eat me alive the way I am right now. Speaking of eating me alive, while I was walking along, I was approached by a group of vicious tarantula hawks. This planet has some really dangerous animals. Without any weapons or abilities, there was no way I could fight off against these monster bugs and survive. I ran off as fast as I could until I'd lost them. As I was regaining my strength, I saw another Mungus crew member approaching. This one was blue.
You! Are you a friendly?
Yes, Red Captain sent me out on a recon mission. With that, the blue crew member seemed to relax and approach.
Good. You can't be too careful these days. It's possible that the imposter survived the crash. I'm Corporal Blue. Who are you?
I'm Zozo. Waiting further orders, sir.
Then follow me. Another survivor set up an encampment near here. He outranks us, so we should go see him.
Sir, yes, sir. Lead the way. Corporal Blue started walking, and I followed him, relieved that he bought my story. On day 3, I followed Corporal Blue over to the encampment he told me about. A tough-looking orange Mungus was waiting for us next to the fire.
This another survivor, Corporal?
Sir, yes, sir.
Well, he's not much to look at, but after the crash, I suppose we have to take what we can get. I dispatched people across the surface of this planet to search for more. I'm Sergeant Orange. What do they call you?
I'm Zozo, sir. Basic recruit. I'm not very strong yet, but I'll always do my best.
Heartwarming. You need to get yourself some weapons and set up another encampment. Stat! There's safety in numbers. We need to root out and destroy the imposter as soon as we can.
But Sergeant, if you don't mind me asking, why does this imposter even want to hurt us?
That's classified, son. Just follow your orders and start building the base and equipment. We have 97 days to get off this mudball of a planet, and we have no time to waste.
With that, Corporal Blue and I headed off to work on Sergeant Orange's demands. They were still none the wiser that I was the imposter among them. From day 4 to day 5, Corporal Blue and I found a nice place to start working on our base.
First and foremost, recruit, we're gonna need a crafting bench and a wooden pickaxe. Start busting down some trees.
I'll get right on it, sir. After some lumberjacking, I built myself a crafting bench and a wooden pickaxe. Then I mined into the ground and collected enough stone to build myself a stone pickaxe and stone sword.
Good work, soldier. Now start building that base.
Using the rest of the wood and stone, I started building a base. It was basic at first, with 2 separate rooms for the Corporal Blue and I.
This is looking good, recruit, but we don't have time to rest. Some hostile creatures are approaching. Go stop them.
Sir, yes, sir. I ran off and intercepted some tarantula hawks, and this time I had a stone sword to fight them off. It didn't take long to defeat them, and that gave me the XP to upgrade. I now had 30 hearts, and I also unlocked an energy blast cannon. This is gonna come in handy later. From day 6 to day 8, I went exploring, hoping to find some time away from the Mungus crew members so I could figure out some kind of plan. To be the true imposter, I need to outsmart and defeat all the crew members. I'm not strong enough yet, and I need to gain their trust. But while wandering along, I happened upon a green Mungus being chased by some bubble parasites. Maybe if I helped him, they'd trust me more. Don't worry, fellow crew member, I'm coming to help you. I ran in with my stone sword and defeated the bubble parasites, saving the green crew member.
Wow, you really saved my bacon there. I was worried my goose was cooked.
All these food metaphors are making me hungry. Wanna come back to my base?
I would, but Red Captain sent me out here to destroy the bubble monster. But I couldn't even defeat its bubble parasites.
Then let's go together. Maybe we can defeat it with our powers combined. So the two of us went off to defeat the bubble monster. From day 9 to day 10, I followed the green Mungus crew member until we saw the bubble monster wandering around. It looked way scarier than the bubble parasites. I can see why you had trouble fighting this thing. Let me see what I can do. I ran in and fired an energy blast against the bubble monster, but that only seemed to make it angry. It ran towards me, and considering how strong it was, I knew that all I could do was run away. I met back up with the green crew member. You're right, that bubble monster is way too tough to take on now. Let's head back to my base. We'll pool our resources and take this monster on later.
You seem to really know what you're doing. I'll follow you. Let's go.
So I started leading the crew member back to my base, having gained the trust of another Mungus. From day 11 to day 12, I returned back to my base with the green crew member and started building a new floor and a new room. The more people I could have around at any given time, the less anyone would suspect of me being the imposter. By the time the new room was done, the green crew member approached me with some exciting news.
I've been working on another section of the base. I figured we might need our storage areas ready for weapons and equipment.
That's excellent, fellow crew member. Let's go take a look. Green had built an excellent storage room, perfect for supplying what was left of the Mungus military. They were only going to get stronger as time went on. I need to make sure all of my own tools are up to date. I found a mine where I could dig up some old iron ore and took it back to the base. I began to smelt that iron until I had enough to make an iron sword and an iron pickaxe. Then I returned to see how Green was doing, making sure to act natural. Green, just between you and me, do you have any idea what the Red Captain is planning for us?
It goes above my pay grade, comrade. But I do know that Red Captain is calling in reinforcements, and he wants us to acquire heavy weaponry and supplies for some kind of secret mission.
Fair enough. I guess I'll work on buffing out our supplies. I spent the rest of the day building a paddock to store some sheep in, and then herding some sheep into it, wondering what exactly the Red Captain had planned for us all. From day 13 to day 15, Corporal Blue came to give me some new orders.
Recruit, I want you to go out and search for other lost crew members. The more people we can bring in to help us build our encampments, the better.
Sir, yes, sir. I went out into the further reaches of this strange new planet, pretending that I was doing exactly what Corporal Blue wanted, while I was secretly planning on sabotaging it all. That's what being the imposter is all about. And while I was out searching, I ran into a pair of Munguses.
You're on our side, right?
Yeah, but nobody seems to tell me what the mission is. Do you know?
That's on a need-to-know basis, kid, and you don't need to know.
Then I guess that's all we have to say to each other. I shot one of the Munguses with an energy blast, and then pulled out my new iron sword to take on the other. Soon enough, both were defeated. Looks like I'm really living up to the imposter mantle. That's when I noticed that one of the Munguses dropped some kind of scientific healing serum. Don't mind if I do. I drank the health serum and found myself getting bigger and stronger. I now had 60 hearts and the ability to shapeshift. This is gonna make me a better imposter than ever before. From day 16 to day 19, I continued searching after defeating the pair of patrolling Munguses. I'm glad nobody is around. If anyone saw me fighting those Munguses, they'd know I'm a fake immediately. While walking around, I found a book on the ground. It seemed like it was some kind of military journal from one of the Munguses stranded on the planet. I picked it up and took a look inside.
This crash has seriously affected the timeline of the mission. We lost half our crew, and the rest is scattered all around the planet. We need to find and destroy the imposter that brought us down. Once we've gotten rid of him, we can continue the extermination plans.
Extermination plans? I'm beginning to think these Munguses don't have the kindest intentions here. Before I could think too hard about what was happening, I was ambushed by another Mungus. He must have seen me taking out those other crew members. Thankfully, with my iron sword, it wasn't hard to defeat him. I just needed to go back to my base now and ensure that nobody suspected a thing. From day 20 to day 22, I returned to my base, covering my tracks to make sure nobody knew about my conflicts with the other Munguses. On the way back, I fought a gang of bubble parasites, which were even easier to defeat than they were before. I'm really getting into the hang of this whole imposter thing. I arrived back at my base and smelted the rest of my iron to create some iron armor, which would improve my defenses against attackers of any kind. I finally felt ready to go and settle an old score. I went out to battle the bubble monster that seemed unbeatable a few weeks ago, but with my new sword and armor, it didn't take me long to bring him down. That's another win for Zozo!
Good work, son, but we're only just getting started.
I turned and saw the Red Captain was approaching. I waved to him, trying to hide my nervousness. Red Captain, what a lovely surprise!
Not all surprises are lovely, Zozo. Case in point, this situation with the imposter, he's undermining our authority. I saw that a few of my soldiers went missing. He must be behind it.
Is this all delaying the extermination plan?
Because I like you, I'm not gonna ask how you know about that. But tread carefully, Zozo. You never know when something dangerous is just around the corner.
From day 23 to day 26, I returned to my base to deliver the good news to the green Mungus recruit. I did it! I finally beat the bubble monster.
That's great! I knew you could do it!
Thank you for having faith in me.
Of course! Your strength is my strength, comrade!
With that, I left the base and wandered for a bit to clear my head. I wanted to tell him the truth, but I couldn't. I had to keep the fact that I was an imposter to myself until I could figure out what to do about the extermination plan. I found a book containing the fire aspect enchantment that would really boost my sword power. This is amazing! I can use this to enchant my sword and give it the ability to set targets on fire. I rushed back to my base and used the book to enchant my sword, and some of my remaining iron to fix it up. When I was finished, the green Mungus came over to talk to me again.
Zozo, while you were out, I built an additional paddock to contain any more sheep or other livestock you might find. I hope this proves useful.
That's great! You work really fast. I'm impressed. Looking at the awesome upgrades to the paddock that the green recruit had made, part of me just hoped he wasn't in on whatever evil plan was afoot. From day 27 to day 31, I went back out to explore the Red Rock Highlands. While I was looking around, I was approached by a group of Munguses. Uh-oh, I hope they're not onto me.
Hey, you're the guy who got rid of the bubble monster, right?
Yeah, I am. I was pretty relieved that was their question.
If you're that good of a fighter, we definitely want to stick with you. Have a safe place that we can hang out?
Sure thing. You can stay at my base for as long as you want. I sent the Munguses back to my base and continued exploring. I gathered some sand to make some glass in the furnace, then headed back to my base to use it. I used the glass to add some new windows to the base so I would be able to see outside whenever I was hanging out inside. As I finished adding the windows, the blue Mungus corporal approached me.
Recruit, our sergeant needs our assistance. He is currently under attack, and we need to get there and help out immediately.
Sir, yes, sir! From day 32 to day 35, I followed the blue Mungus corporal to where the orange Mungus sergeant was being attacked. I saw a group of tarantula hawks fighting with the sergeant, and I sprang into action. I used my newly enchanted sword to attack the tarantula hawks with fire, but there were so many of them. While I was focused on fighting one group of them, another group managed to take down the sergeant before I could save him.
No!
The Mungus corporal rushed over, but it was too late to do anything to help the sergeant. He was gone. I'm so sorry about the sergeant, sir.
As am I, but sadly, that is what happens on the battlefield sometimes. We must press on.
It's still sad, though.
You're a curious man, recruit. Sometimes I'd swear you don't act like Among Us at all.
I started to get a little nervous when he said that.
It's refreshing. Thank you. No time to stand here talking. We'd better get moving.
From day 36 to day 39, I went back to the meadow. Before I had a chance to explore very much, a green Mungus recruit came running up to me.
Zozo, help! The Red Captain sent me to clear this area of hostile forces, but I'm not strong enough to beat this Ender Creeper. If I get too close, I'm scared it'll blow up and take me with it. Could you come fight it with me?
Sure thing, let's go! The green Mungus and I sprinted over to the area where the Ender Creeper was still, well, creeping around. Taste the energy blast, you creepy creeper! I shot an energy blast at the Ender Creeper. Then I attacked with my enchanted sword and burned him up. Before long, that Ender Creeper was toast, literally.
You really are an amazing fighter. Thank you so much for your help. We'll definitely be able to use you for the special mission.
Right, the special mission. Which mission was that again?
No, the Captain's special secret mission. The one dealing with the imposter home planet. Don't tell me you haven't heard about it.
Oh, that plan! No, I totally heard about it. After the green Mungus ran off, I was left alone to wonder what he meant. What could the captain be planning to do with my home planet? From day 40 to day 43, I headed back to my base. I couldn't stop thinking about what the green Mungus had told me. The imposter home planet. I guess that's where I'm from too. What's the captain going to do to it? I wish I could get him to tell me about the extermination plan. I get the feeling it's nothing good. I didn't have time to ask myself any more questions because when I got to my base, the blue Mungus corporal was waiting for me.
Recruit, I've been hard at work in your absence. Take a look at this new guard tower, which will add a necessary line of defense to the base.
Whoa, that looks awesome. I feel safer already.
I'm pleased to hear that. I want to invite additional recruits to the base so that they can take shelter here and avoid potential attacks by the imposter.
Sounds like a great idea. More Munguses arrived at the base and I showed them to their room. There's plenty of space for everyone. Next, the Mungus I met earlier came up to talk to me.
Zozo, we need your help again! The Red Captain is requesting as many of us as possible to go to his coordinates and help him with a special task. We could use your fighting skills. Will you join us?
Sure. Hey, maybe he'll tell us more about that secret project. From day 44 to day 49, myself and the different Munguses went in different directions to go and meet up with the Red Captain. We went different ways, so if the imposter ambushed either of us, at least one group would survive, although he didn't know I was the imposter all along. Or did he? When I arrived at the Red Captain's coordinates, I got a nasty surprise. The captain was there alone, waiting for me. What had happened to all the others? Red Captain, the Munguses said you wanted to see me. You needed as many troops as possible. What's happening?
Tonight, we're finally gonna destroy the imposter, young recruit.
Oh, have you found him? Where is he?
Simple. He's standing right in front of me. Now don't be silly, son. If you move any step in any direction, I'll vaporize you with a well-placed energy blast.
But I'm not the imposter, sir. I swear.
Don't waste your last breaths on lies, imposter. I've been watching you all along, following your movements carefully. You think you're slick? I know exactly what you are.
At this point, I was terrified. I was frozen in place with no idea what to do. So are you going to destroy me then?
Thankfully, I won't need to make the effort. Something special survived the ship's crash. A security golem, perfectly designed for destroying sneaky little imposters like you.
The Red Captain walked away, and in walked the terrifying security golem. My secret was out, and now the robot was going to give me a real run for my money. I fired an energy blast at him, and he was completely unfazed. Time for me to see how strong I really am. From day 50 to day 53, the security golem began its onslaught. It fired its laser at me, and I barely managed to dodge. As the robot ran in, I unleashed the flame-enchanted iron sword on him, striking him again and again until the flame effect burned through his armor and ate away at his circuits. Soon enough, after a hard fight, the security golem collapsed, defeated. When it disappeared, it dropped 3 things: a tricked-out crossbow, arrows, and a data log. A data log that just happened to contain the true details of the Red Captain's extermination plan.
We've been at war with those pesky imposters for decades now, but this time we're gonna deal with them once and for all. If we can send a big enough Mungus army with enough heavy artillery at their disposal, we can wipe out the entire imposter planet once and for all and end this pesky, expensive war.
I was horrified by what I saw. So the extermination plan was to exterminate my entire home planet? That's awful! I need to put a stop to this myself. But after the Red Captain uncovered my secret, I had no idea who was still on my side. I guess I just need to find out. From day 54 to day 57, I started heading back to my base. On the way there, I ran into a gang of Munguses loyal to the Red Captain.
Well, 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 if it isn't the imposter. I always knew that you were a little sus. He told us to wait here in case you survived the security droid. The Red Captain always thinks of everything.
Yeah, including trying to exterminate all of my people. That must be why I was sent to sabotage your mission. You were going to do something pure evil.
There is no evil in war, Zozo. Only winners and losers, and the winners get to decide who was right all along.
But I wasn't going to listen to these Munguses excuse their evil boss's actions. I pulled out my new crossbow and expertly sent a bolt at each of them. They dropped a strength potion, which I grabbed and added to my inventory. You never know when you'll need this. I returned to my base and immediately ran up to the Corporal Blue. I had no idea if the Red Captain had already told him the truth, but there was only one way to find out.
Zozo, you look exhausted. Is everything okay?
Perfect. He didn't know. I could still spin this. Corporal Blue, I found out some terrible news. Red Captain was the imposter all along. He was infiltrated before we even got into the spaceship. He's been planning against us all along.
That's diabolical, but also the perfect cover. Who would ever suspect the captain? It's just you and me now, Zozo. We only have each other.
At least now I knew I still had Corporal Blue on my side. But for how long? From day 58 to day 62, relieved that Corporal Blue hadn't caught on to the truth about me yet, I continued working on my base. I introduced more sheep to my paddock just to make sure we'd always have more than we needed. But wool wasn't the only thing I wanted to get my hands on. I returned again to the underground mine, going down deeper than I ever have before. After breaking through stone for hours on end, I was finally able to collect plenty of diamonds. These are exactly what I need to make myself stronger, offensively and defensively. The Red Captain would probably appreciate that if he didn't hate my guts. I went back to my base and created a full set of diamond armor, a diamond pickaxe, and a diamond sword. This is more like it! Now that I was fully armed and armored, Corporal Blue approached me yet again, this time with some interesting news.
Zozo, come over here. I've created a valuable new base addition. It's a planning room where we can discuss our next moves against the imposter in private.
I went over and took a look at the new room. It was an amazing creation that clearly came from extensive military experience. I can't even imagine a better place to plan, sir.
Good, because we're going to need to do a lot of planning. If the imposter has truly taken the role of the Red Captain, we're both in grave danger.
From day 63 to day 66, I met with Corporal Blue in the planning room so that we could come up with our next step.
If my intelligence is correct, I believe there may be some important information about the imposter, or rather, the Red Captain, in a nearby area. I need you to be my eyes and ears, Zozo. Will you go inspect the area?
You got it, sir. I'll head there right now. I traveled to the fungal patch immediately, and I found a grove full of huge mushrooms. Looks like there's a fungus among us.
That's a pretty good joke, but I'm afraid the plight of my people is no laughing matter.
I turned around and saw a mushroom lord standing there. I grabbed my sword just in case he decided to try and attack me.
Have you come to invade our home, to kick me and my people out of the place we've lived for years?
No, I don't want to kick anyone out of anywhere. I'm trying to stop the Red Captain from hurting anyone.
If this is true, then you and I have something in common. You look like them, but you behave differently. Perhaps we could be friends, and you could aid me in defending my fellow mushroom people.
Definitely. What can I do to help?
There are enemy forces nearby attempting to drive us out of the area so they can set up a base here. Help me defeat them and protect my home.
You got it. I'm Zozo, by the way.
My name is Lord Chungus.
From day 63 to day 70, I followed Lord Chungus to a nearby house where a bunch of munguses were attacking.
Hey, come help us get rid of these mushrooms.
No can do. They deserve to keep their home. They were here first.
What are you, some kind of traitor? Get him!
The munguses rushed at me, but I hit them with an energy blast. Then I attacked with my sword, and it wasn't too long before I had defeated all of them. I looked around just to make sure no munguses were watching me. Phew, the coast is clear. Everyone here should be safe now, Lord Chungus.
Thank you for your help, Zozo. The mushroom people will tell your story for generations to come.
That's really nice. Thanks. It's good to feel like I'm actually helping. I was starting to worry I might be the bad guy here.
Not bad at all. You're a hero.
From day 71 to day 74, I decided to keep exploring, and I wandered over towards my base. As I walked, I spotted a note on a tree. What's this say? It says to make sure and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more adventures like this one. And don't forget to search Zozo to find more awesome Minecraft videos. Nice note. When I was close to home, I started looking around for useful materials. Before I could find anything, the Red Captain surprised me from behind.
There you are, imposter. I knew I'd find you skulking around here somewhere. You may have survived the security droid, but that was just luck. This time, you won't be so lucky.
I know what your plan is. You're trying to destroy the imposter home planet. That's terrible. People are just trying to live there, and they're not bothering anyone.
false! They are bothering me, but bothering all of us! Their very existence is a threat, as is yours, but you won't trouble me for much longer.
He attacked me, and I tried to attack back with my newly upgraded diamond sword, but it barely left a scratch on him. Uh-oh, he's still way too strong for me. I need to get out of here. I fired an energy blast to distract the red captain, and then I ran out of there as fast as I could. From day 75 to day 78, I ran all the way back to my base. I was scared that the red captain would follow me, but I managed to get back safe and sound. I was way too close for comfort. I can't believe I had to run off instead of fighting him. Such a disappointment to my people. I went to my room to be alone and think about what I could do to fight better next time. After a little while, Corporal Blue came in to see me.
Recruit, I know you're feeling disappointed, but now is not the time to get lost in despair. Come, take a look at this. I added an armory to the base so we can store additional weapons and be prepared for anything.
I followed him towards the new high-tech armory that he had built. Oh wow, this does look really awesome, and you building it means you really believe in me. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. Speaking of which, I also have this growth serum for you. Drink it and find the strength you require.
Sir, yes, sir. I drank the growth serum and felt myself getting stronger. My hearts increased to 100, and I also felt like I could take on the world with my newfound strength. This is just what I needed. From day 79 to day 84, I went back to the orchard to see if the red captain was there. With my new strength, I had a feeling I would do much better this time. But when I got there, he was nowhere to be found. There were some tarantula hawks lurking around though, and I tested out my new strength on them. They were so much easier to defeat this time around. I'm getting so much better at this. Awesome! A skulk scorpion saw me fight the tarantula hawks and came over to talk to me.
Yo, that was pretty cool. You some kind of hero or something?
I hope so.
Sure seems like it. What's your name, hero?
Zozo.
I like your energy, Zozo. I've got this thing. I've been waiting for the right person to give it to, and I think that person might be you. Here, take these shark-tooth arrows.
Oh, thanks. I can use these with my crossbow.
Nice. Catch you on the flip side, Z-Man.
From day 85 to day 89, I went back to my base to show Corporal Blue my new shark-tooth arrow. But when I got there, I saw a bunch of munguses attacking the base.
That'll show him. That's what happens to imposters. Yeah.
Hey, stop that!
Look, there he is. Let's get him.
Not if I get you first. I attacked the munguses with my new and improved strength.
Yikes, he's strong. Let's get out of here.
Not so fast. I ran after the munguses, but along the way, I saw a pigorus that looked really upset. Hey, what's going on?
Oh, I need some help! I lost my favorite book somewhere around here, but I can't find it!
Let me see if I can find it. I looked around, and I found the book. I took it back to the pigorus.
Thank you! I wish I could give you something in return, but I don't have anything. Those munguses took everything I have.
Don't worry about it. I'm happy to help. Did you see what way they went?
Yes, they went that way, where the shuttle is.
From day 90 to day 94, I followed the mungus's tail to the new shuttle, the base that the Red Captain was making to escape the planet. I don't want to get too close. If I do, then the Red Captain's guards will come running out to get me. I'll just focus on that group of munguses that attacked my base. I watched the munguses all go inside, and a member of their group I hadn't seen before came out of the shuttle. That robot golem, he must have been behind the attack. The robot golem spotted me and ran toward me.
I sure was. The Red Captain sent me. I'm his right-hand man, and I'm going to make sure you don't cause him any more trouble. Prepare to be destroyed, Zozo.
Uh-oh, guess it's time for a fight. I fired an energy blast to start, but it didn't have any effect at all. Next, I tried my sword, but he didn't seem to be hurt by that either. This guy's really tough. This is gonna be my hardest fight yet. I decided to drink my strength potion and push forwards. From day 95 to day 97, I continued my fight with the robot golem. He was really tough, the toughest enemy I'd fought so far. For a little while there, I thought I might be a goner. Oh no you don't, I have a planet to save. I thought about all the imposters that would be lost if I didn't save them, and I summoned the strength to defeat the robot golem. When I beat him, I noticed that he dropped a book on the ground. Hey, what's this? I picked it up. These look like the access codes. Wait a second, I bet these are the access codes to the Red Captain's base. With these, I can get inside and surprise him. That might help me win. But I wasn't ready to just run there all of a sudden. I need to get ready if I'm going to go into the captain's base. I'll only get one shot at this, so I'll need to be as strong and as prepared as possible. Back to the base! On day 98, I headed back to my base to prepare for my big battle against the Red Captain. I've only got a couple days left before he tries to exterminate my home planet. I've got to work fast! As I got to work practicing my fighting, the Blue Corporal came up to talk to me.
Zozo, I have to confess something to you. I know that you're not who you say you are. I know you're the imposter.
You do? Are you going to try to destroy me?
No, I'm not. I've looked into what the Red Captain has planned, and that's not what I signed on for. I don't want to be part of destroying a planet full of creatures who aren't doing anything wrong. So even if it goes against everything I thought I knew, I will still stand with you. I'm counting on you to defeat the Red Captain, Zozo. Not just to save your people, but to restore honor to us all, to remind me what it means to be among us.
I will definitely do my best. Thank you, sir.
Oh, one more thing. Take this potion of strength. You'll need it before the final battle.
I took the potion and drank it, and I felt the strength coursing through me. I was finally ready! On day 99, I traveled toward the Red Captain's shuttle. As I did, I passed the Pigorus who sent me to find his book.
Thank you again for what you did, Zozo. It really made my day. Whatever you do next, I know you'll do a great job.
Hey, thanks. I continued on my way until I finally reached the shuttle. There were a bunch of Mungus guards stationed outside, way too many for me to try and take on at once. Oh no, what should I do now?
How about assistance from a fun guy?
I turned to see the Mushroom Lord standing behind me. Lord Chungus, you came to help.
I certainly did. Now I'll handle these miscreants out here. You head on inside and unseat the tyrant Red Captain. It will be an honor to fight by your side, Zozo.
You too. Lord Chungus rushed in and started attacking the Munguses. And while Lord Chungus kept the guards busy, I put in the access codes and used them to open the door to the shuttle. Then I ran inside. On day 100, I entered the Red Captain's lair to finally confront him once and for all. I'm back, Captain. Come out and face me.
Imposter, it's time to finally face your fate. I will happily be your judge, jury, and executioner.
You think you're so much stronger than me, but you aren't. I'm going to take you down. I drew my sword and attacked. He dodged my hit, but I didn't give up. I got some distance between us and got out my crossbow and new shark-tooth arrows. I fired an arrow at the Red Captain and it hit.
It's too late. I'm gonna exterminate your planet, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Liar! I'm going to stop you! I fired another arrow and it hit, but he was still up. He came at me and attacked, but I dodged.
If I don't destroy you, one of the others will. Everyone knows what you are now.
And everyone knows which you are too, a villain! He came at me and hit me hard, but I didn't fall down. I kept going. I fired an energy blast and finished him off with my sword. Finally, the Red Captain was defeated. I can't believe it. It's finally over. I hope that Corporal Blue was able to tell the other Munguses what was going on, but at least my planet will be safe. When I made it back to my base, everyone had come back. After they learned Red Captain's plan, they realized he wasn't someone that they wanted to follow. With him out of the way, imposters and Munguses could finally coexist in peace.